Right now on the National Weather Desk, another round of powerful and destructive tornadoes, this time in Tennessee. Homes and buildings leveled. We'll show you the damage and the cleanup. Plus, areas at risk to see severe weather today.
Is night and the extreme high winds.
A tree crashing through his house. A North Carolina man tells us what happened.
The window blew out in our TV room. And then all of a sudden it was just a rush of trees coming down and I was heading towards the basement.
We'll take you back to Michigan after powerful tornadoes devastated communities there. And we'll find out how beavers are being used to fight wildfires.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Steve Rudin from WJLA in Washington, D.C. Severe weather battered Tennessee yesterday. Hail, heavy rain, and strong winds pounded the area. At least 3 radar-confirmed tornadoes touched down in the state. Multiple reports of injuries. At least 1 death has been confirmed. Captured as it happened on a smartphone, a large tornado touched down near Spring Hill, Tennessee, about 30 miles south of Nashville. Severe damage was reported in the area, along with multiple injuries. The person who recorded this video says the twisters were just outside of his front door. This is what the scene looked like in Columbia, Tennessee, which is just south of Spring Hill, where another possible tornado touched down. Trees were uprooted and power lines were taken down. Damage assessments are still ongoing, with several homes and businesses destroyed. Flooding has also been a major part of the region, a major threat in the region. And we turn now to Karen Aguilar for more.
Good morning. Many families here in Columbia are waking up without homes, like this family right here behind me, who live in this home who has been destroyed by the sheer force of that tornado. Take a look at the roof. It's caved in. We've also seen pieces of memorabilia on the floor. We've seen some kids' toys. We've also seen some chairs. Just a feeling of who could have lived here and everything that they have lost. Now, as you mentioned, 1 person was killed by this tornado. Several others have been hurt. For this family that lives right here, we're working to find out what happened to them, where they are. What we do know from Murray County emergency management officials from a press conference yesterday is that people who lost their homes, like this family that lived right here behind me, there is a shelter station in place for them at Riverside Elementary School on Carter Street that they could go to take refuge while they figure out how they're going to rebuild and the next steps. Now, there's still many questions that we have regarding this tornado and what's going to transpire after this tornado devastated this area. Reporting live in Columbia, Karen Aguilar.
And severe storms also hit North Carolina yesterday. Strong winds reaching 70 miles per hour pounded the region, along with baseball-sized hail. At one point, over 125,000 customers were without power. Trees were brought down. At least 1 person was killed. Mark Liverman spoke to a resident who was inside with his dogs when a tree came crashing through his window.
Down branches so big they look like entire trees. The damage so bad it could have been deadly. And we heard a loud boom. I didn't hear any lightning or anything, just a crash. And that's when the branch came through the window. Matt Kohler was inside his home just a few feet away. That branch shattering the window he was next to. My girlfriend wanted to get in the cellar, but it happened so quick we didn't have time to. Luckily, Matt, his partner, and their 3 dogs weren't hurt. Incredible, given the destruction his property faced. 2 parts of this huge tree here and the whole top of this huge 100-foot pine here broke in half. It landed on the patio on the porch. Got black as night and the extreme high winds.
All within a matter of minutes?
Within 2 minutes, a minute or 2.
Well, I want to give you an idea of what the damage looks like from this side of the property. The down fence here from part of the tree, 2 sections of 2 big trees that came down during the storm. And you can see just how big these trunks are, these sections are of the tree here and here as well. And then in the distance there, you see the property. The first window that you see just on the side of the home, that is where the tree came through the window while they were inside.
Severe weather also tore through portions of Alabama on Wednesday. This was the scene in Madison County, where thousands were left without power. Trees and power lines were taken down, crushing the cars beneath them. Extensive damage was reported in the area, and there were also reports of several injuries. Another batch of strong to severe storms is on the way later today for a large portion of the country. Areas from Texas to South Carolina are under an enhanced risk, or level 3 out of 5. Tornadoes, hail, and damaging winds are all possible. Be sure to stay weather alert if you live in these areas. Now to Southwest Michigan. The cleanup continues after Tuesday's tornadoes struck Portage and Galesburg just outside of Battle Creek. The National Weather Service rated the Portage tornado an EF2 with winds nearing 135 miles per hour. The twister was 300 yards wide and remained on the ground for 11 miles. While damage was extensive, no one was killed. Kirk Mason has more.
Chainsaw is one of the most common sounds in this Portage neighborhood. Much of the woods of Ashton Woods no longer stand. A staggering number of trees now cover the ground or sit on top of homes.
A window blew out in our TV room, and then all of a sudden it was just a rush of trees coming down, and I was heading towards the basement.
Next door to Ashton Woods sits St. Catherine's Catholic Church. This cross is supposed to be on the roof of the church, but not after Mother Nature rolled through.
It looked like it was coming right towards Portage, which was true.
Behind the church, what's left of a now badly damaged rectory where the priests live. 2 priests taking shelter in the basement when the storm hit.
All of a sudden, the pressure dropped. We could feel our ears pop. And when our ears popped, I said, "This is it, Father. This is the tornado."
3 of the 4 walls of the rectory garage are now gone. Half of the rectory roof also gone. Cars damaged.
There was a dust cloud, and we realized that something had happened because all the insulation from the roof was now in the basement with us.
Parts of Ohio are cleaning up after several tornadoes rolled through the state on Tuesday. According to the National Weather Service, 5 tornadoes touched down in Warren County, located between Cincinnati and Dayton. Weather Service meteorologists surveyed the damage yesterday. In Arkansas, cleanup continues after a tornado struck Hot Springs near Lake Hamilton. This happened on Tuesday night. The National Weather Service confirms it was an EF2 tornado with winds between 111 and 135 miles per hour. Damage is extensive from uprooted trees, down power lines, and shredded roofs. Many states have been plagued with severe storms over the last month. So why are these storms popping up so often lately? And what does it take for them to form? Meteorologist Violet Schreiber explains.
Well, we need the ingredients called SLIM: shear, lift, instability, and moisture. Shear is a change in the wind direction or speed, creating rotation on storms. Lift is air pushed upwards by convection or a cold front. Instability is rapid cooling with height, and moisture, warm southern air and high dew points, so high humidity to help fuel the storms. It also helps to have a cap or inversion, and that's a layer of warmer air higher up in the atmosphere. So as the day heats up, warm updrafts form. As long as the temperatures keep falling with height, the air will continue to rise. But if we have that cap, the updraft hits that layer of warmer air and it's unable to continue upward, forming larger clouds or even thunderstorms. So we need a little thin area of that cap or a weaker cap to allow those thunderstorms to hit it and then explode, creating severe thunderstorms. So that happens when there's sufficient heating or there's an area in the cap that's thin or weak, and that allows for strong storms to form. But what is the criteria for a severe thunderstorm warning? For one to be issued, we need wind gusts of 58 miles per hour or higher, quarter-sized hail. Considerable warnings will be 70 mile per hour wind gusts and golf ball sized hail. And occasionally we do see destructive severe thunderstorm warnings, which is 80 mile per hour wind gusts and baseball sized hail. And that's when alerts are issued right on your phone.
And coming up on the National Weather Desk, California's snowpack is melting and filling up waterways. We'll find out what it means for local communities. And wildfire season is quickly approaching. We'll look at how beavers are being used to help mitigate the risks.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
For years, California has faced major drought, but now the California Department of Water Resources says Lake Oroville is officially at full capacity for the second year in a row. Anna Monabor takes us there to show us the impacts it's going to have on the region.
We experienced quite a string of drought years back starting in 2020 through 2022. Since that time, we've seen that extreme weather shift go from very dry to wet conditions.
And as of Sunday, the Department of Resources Data Exchange Center says Lake Oroville is sitting at just under 900 feet, with around 3.5 million acre feet, compared to last year at this time when Lake Oroville sat at 55% of its total capacity, with 1.93 million acre feet of water.
Why is that so significant? I know that there's a lot of good things that come with this. Can you break that down?
Lake Oroville is the largest reservoir for the state water project. It provides adequate and sufficient water supply, but also provides additional storage that we'll be able to carry into 2025 should next year be dry.
White says reaching max capacity didn't always seem like a possibility for this year.
But it wasn't looking great at the beginning of the water year. It started out very warm and dry. Here we are. It's certainly Mother Nature turned the corner and provided a lot of good snowpack and runoff into the lake that we've been able to fill.
And with more water comes more visitors.
And when the water gets up this high, there's, like I said, there's a lot of coves and little spots you can find. So you can almost have your own little spot of the lake.
Public Safety Chief for Butte, California State Parks, Aaron Wright, says they love seeing an increase in visitors, but also urges people to take all safety precautions.
One issues we see common this time of year is they haven't driven the road all winter. They don't have their batteries good. They have issues. So check out your boat, make sure it's working. There's a lot of water. Be prepared and take care of yourself and be smart about coming out and recreating.
While snowpack runoff in California is great news for area lakes, it also means wildfire season is fast approaching. As Will Silverstein found out, officials of the state are turning to nature to help with this fire mitigation.
The furry firefighters in question are the North American beaver. In 2023, California created the Beaver Restoration Program, which sees beaver reintroduced to their natural habitat. In the 17 and 1800s, beaver along with otter and other wildlife were hunted, harvested, and killed for their precious fur. Now these little guys are being celebrated for their very big benefits to the land where they were nearly hunted to extinction.
Starting to see some drag marks. You can start to see where the beavers have been coming out of the water.
Audrey Taub is the founder of the San Luis Obispo Beaver Brigade. The organization helps support care and research for beavers living around the Central California coastline. Taub explained how beavers on the hunt for wood for their dams create new channels of water from rivers that become new wetlands. A satellite imagery study by University of Minnesota professor Dr. Emily Fairfax showed wetland beaver habitat was less likely to burn in a wildfire and in some cases was almost completely spared.
They'll dig out these channels from the main stem and they'll start further spreading the water out just so they can get to more trees. But in the process, it's taking this single-threaded channel and making this very wide, slow-moving pond. It's a great big sponge that's not going to burn.
Taub says the beavers saving California from fire will help reconnect Californians with beavers and their relationship with the land.
Here you are, you're a part of it. Now you can interact with it and you can be in relationship to this place with these beavers.
Continuing with wildfires, officials in Oregon are urging residents to prepare for bad air quality days. They say it's important to prepare now for wildfires in the Pacific Northwest as they're becoming more and more intense and frequent. Allison Guttleber has more.
The Pacific Northwest is no stranger to bad air quality days. Last year, Central Oregon spent more than a month at or above unhealthy for sensitive groups. Now, as a part of the Air Quality Awareness Week, the EPA, along with the CDC and DEQ, want to help you, especially during wildfire season. More awareness leads to action.
You might not think about your air filter until we really are in the time of year that we'll see in wildfire smoke in Oregon and smoke conditions to the level that we have air quality advisories up.
That means now is the time to prepare.
As part of just your heating and cooling system, you have filters built in. And so it's a good time of year to stop and see if you have replacement filters, remind yourself what size those are. And if you don't have them, try to track down some of these MERV 13 or higher filters.
And just a reminder, you don't have to be in an area where wildfires are common to face air quality issues. It's always a good time to check or change your HVAC filter for cleaner air and better efficiency. And check this out. After reporting on air quality issues, Allison posted on TikTok how you can make your own indoor air filter at home. Let's take a look.
It's Air Quality Awareness Week, and we want to keep you safe and protected from wildfire smoke. So we have a DIY for you. You need two things, an air filter and a box fan. The first thing that you need to know is you need to look for this arrow on the air filter. What you're going to do is take that and point it towards the back of the fan. You're going to have to secure these two, and then when you turn on the fan, it's going to take the smoke and the dirty air, filter it through, and then the clean air will come out on the other side. The other thing is that if you're done with it, you need to unplug it. Make sure not to walk out of the room while it's on.
All right, we talk a lot about clouds on the National Weather Desk. Today we learn how clouds can impact temperatures and moisture levels in ways you may not always think about. Austin meteorologist Alex Garcia explains.
What are clouds? They're made up of tiny little drops of water. And really, there's tiny little specks of dust called cloud condensation nuclei. The water condenses on those little specks, and when you get enough of them, this is what you get. You get a lot of clouds. Now, the issue is the clouds are made out of water vapor. It's water. So that means water's an interesting element. It soaks in heat, and then it releases it very slowly. So during the nighttime, these clouds are accepting all the heat coming in from the sun, and it's heating up the cloud cover. Then they're releasing that heat at night very slowly. So that means all that heat's coming down here. So it makes it pretty nice and warm, very nice. But during the day, sun hits those clouds, and it reflects a lot of the heat back up. Oh, how much does it reflect? Take a look at this. Yeah, bet you didn't know the clouds reflect that much heat. So that means underneath here, well, it gets a little chilly. And that's kind of what happened today. These clouds were reflecting the heat back up, and it was cool down here. Now, coming up for tomorrow, we're going to send little ripples through these clouds and shake those little water droplets up. And when you shake them up, well, they bunch into each other, and they bump into each other, and they get a little bigger and a little bigger. And when that happens, you end up with a little bit of light rain or some drizzle. Let's talk about who's going to see that.
All right, during spring and early summer, sea breezes develop along the coast of Maine. Meteorologist Ryan Munn explains how they form.
Right now, the Gulf of Maine water temperature is in the low to mid 40s, and as the land heats up this time of the year, the actual water temperature over the ocean generally stays the same. This creates a very weak area of low pressure due to rising air over the land, and the air that rises must be replaced by the sinking air or a weak area of high pressure over the colder water. This creates the sea breeze as air flows from high pressure to low pressure.
All right, now it's time for a short break, but let's soar like a big bird over the desert Southwest.
watching the National Weather Desk.
Have you ever seen clouds that appear to be rotating? Not talking about tornadoes here. We're talking about stratus cloud vortices. Meteorologist Brad Montgomery explains.
And this is very, very cool. I want to zoom out really quickly and give you an idea of where we are. There's the Baja of California. There's Southern California. And they typically see a lot of these low clouds or this low cloud cover, these low stratus clouds here. But with the northerly flow, and this happens as well, this is downwind of Guadalupe Island off of the northern Baja California coast. Notice that alternating wave pattern, and I want to pause it right here. These are called von Karman vortices, named after Theo von Karman. And every now and then you get a very, very nice one, and it's very interesting how these kind of just alternate in this kind of swirly pattern downwind of the island. This typically happens, as you can see here, within a northerly or a northwesterly flow.
We'd love to share your weather content on air. You can find us on all your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Just search the National Weather Desk. We're back after this. Thank you so much for looking in this morning. I'm glad you were able to join me. I'm meteorologist Steve Rudin from WJLA in Washington, D.C. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Good day.